What's up, y'all? Alex Quinn here. This is Fame Magazine. Okay, today we're with Diego Gomez de Cordova. We're gonna be talking about algorithms. Hurry up slowly. What's going on, man?
All is great, man. It's a pleasure to be here with you, man, and a pleasure to catch up with you. It's been a while.
It's been some time. We've been every time we've had engagements, it's been in person. So shout out to Brito for connecting us. Now we're finally doing something public. Pretty cool. Our
Yeah.
worlds kind of collide, right? We work in entertainment. I'm on the media side. You're on the actual like on the ground making events happen, working with artists. So it's a perfect match for us to have a really cool conversation, man. So I appreciate your time.
Yeah, agreed. I appreciate your time as well, Alex. And we're definitely both on two very important parts of the industry, and it's cool to just come here and share everything that's been going on over the past year and a half since we haven't
Yep.
spoken. So, there's been a lot of cool new developments, and I'm just happy to be here, man, and happy to be a part of it.
Cool. Tell me all about algorithms, man.
So, obviously, and from the event, spawning from the event business, Hurry Up Slowly, which we started, kind of during the pandemic, and the company got put under a worldwide microscope during the pandemic and a spotlight. Um, Obviously, I started dealing a lot with all the artists we were booking, and I caught like a big passion for artist management. So I started a company called Algorhythms Entertainment back in 2021. And I started with my first artist, which is Calusa. They're also a partner of ours at Hurry Up Slowly. Shout out Gino and Andy. And they run the Hurry Up Slowly label, which has been a pretty big sensation. And they're just big time on the up and up. And we've been, beating it and working our asses off, man, since, 2021 nonstop. And they're, one of the biggest breakout artists right now, in the electronic space. And since then, I've also brought on, two more really, really respectable artists that I respect so much. And they're also on a massive growth path. And I've also gotten into the Latin music space as well on one side. So it's been a lot of cool things so far. And obviously, doing that and, being part of a pretty large scale entertainment event company keeps you pretty busy. But, so far we've seen, just a lot of good growth and in both areas, and just we're on the mission to make them both the best companies, man, in their own space.
You know what's cool, man? Electronics always killing it. Like it's always steady, it's always growing, it's always innovating. And now the Latino wave, and it's kind of catching a mix. I've been recently listening to some playlists of Afro beats with EDM. Pretty cool stuff, man. Miami's a hot scene for what you're doing right now. Obviously, the artist management route is not for everybody. It's a lot of work because you got to deal with other people and then you got to deal with talent, which isn't always easy, right? Because they're artists. And some of us artists are a little bit wacky sometimes. But it's been working for you, man. So I'm happy to see it going well. Was there like a catalyst where you're like, when you were doing what you were doing prior, and you said, you know what, I like this side of the business. I want to put some focus on this. Was there something that you kind of like recall that caught your attention?
Well, it's funny you say that because when I was in my early 20s, that's when I first got introduced to entertainment, right? And we were just booking talent locally in Miami Beach and whatnot, and basically just working as promoting parties and whatnot, and which eventually leads into the actually building festivals and booking
Mhm.
talent. In some ways, turns into managing artists. A lot of people start from different places, but that's usually where it spawns from. But after I did that, a lot of people don't know this about me, but I went into healthcare management, into health management. I started my own company,
Mhm.
and I started my company at 25. I sold it. I was fortunate enough to sell it at 29. And what I was doing in health management, I was managing people's health and companies' health and I'm sorry, employees' health from different companies, and doing everything I can to manage their day to day for them to stay healthy, right? And
Mhm.
I kind of applied that same process to the artist and to their career, right? So like every day is like checking up on your artists, making sure that they're comfortable doing what they're doing, making sure that they're taken care of in every single aspect, right? And I look at it like there's three pillars in the artist world. There's the music side of it, right? Which is their music releases, the touring side of it, which is their shows, and one of the most important part is the third pillar, which is the marketing, right? And the marketing applies to both the touring and the music, and everything pretty much just works together. So I kind of used a lot of the same skill set that I used to, in my health management business, like, having that operational, attentiveness to always be there and always make sure that they're in the best scenarios. And I applied that to entertainment, and at the end of the day, it's very similar. It's two different fields, but it's very similar in a very hands-on way.
Well, the nurturing aspect is definitely a big one.
Yeah, and it all depends on being hands-on. Like, you got to be hands-on, and whether you're a big talent manager, like, what some of my idols like Moshe Leezy and Scooter Braun, like, all those guys started on a very hands-on basis, and they're still hands-on. Mo
Yeah.
actually is one of the most hands-on managers I've seen. I mean, he goes to all of his artists' shows, like, consistently on the grind, and that's kind of like what you want to. I mean, I'm not going to say look up to, but it is a way that you kind of idolize it, and you kind of take that success that he's brought upon for his artists, and you kind of want to apply the same, the same kind of techniques and the same things that he does. So,
What's something about algorithms that people don't generally know, but you wish they did?
that's a good question. I mean, I like to think about my process. Obviously, I can't give away all my recipes.
Right.
A chef has to keep them close, but our process is more than just management. It's everything from A to Z. It's, even, obviously in the artist world, like, you work with agencies, right? A lot of managers don't even go out and pitch their artists for shows. They just say, hey, look, the agent has that. But we help all of the other verticals, do their jobs as well. So, like, if we have an amazing, agent, right? We have great agents at Wasserman. We work with, Analog, WME. We work with a bunch of different big agencies, but we're one of the only management companies that really puts an emphasis on helping our agents and bringing shows to the table, so they know that there's another hand involved in the process, right? Like, we don't only do management. We do bookings, we do executive production, we do A&Ring. We literally do everything around the clock for the artist. Every single thing. Where we can go from artist incubation to, just day-to-day artist management for a successful artist. Like, everything around the clock.
And in other words, also, like, when you're on top of things and you don't just rely on one of the other team members to do it, you prevent some things from falling through the cracks. It's not that necessarily you're doing their job, but if there is something that could use a little bit of help or a little bit of a push, why not do it if it's going to help get to the end result a little bit quicker, or get a better result for that matter.
So, it's funny you say that, because I was talking to my team members yesterday. We have a weekly call every Wednesday, and I was telling them that management is really just like a risk avoidance, right? Like, it's all about predicting, right? Predicting what the bad things that can happen are, and catching them before they happen, right? And as a manager and as an artist, like, any little thing can, it's like a domino effect. Like, any little, like, lack of logistics can make them miss a show, right? Any little lack of logistics can make them miss a studio session. Like, there's just so many, avenues and verticals that you have to be on top of. So it's very important to have a structured team and make sure that every team member sticks to their task, and they're on top of it, because there's just so much. And like you said in the beginning, we're not just dealing with an industry, but you're also dealing with the artists themselves. So you also
Yeah.
deal with their personal stuff, and they have a lot going on. Creative minds. This business is all about making their creativity into a business and making it operate, and helping them get their name out there, but also helping them make money and live and fulfill their dreams. So,
While not driving them crazy with all the external stuff that maybe they shouldn't be worrying about, because they should be creative and be artists.
absolutely. That's why it's so important. Like, sometimes I'll speak to some artists, and I get it. Artists and people, sometimes they come from a place where they want to do everything themselves, right? They want to have their hands on everything. It's micromanagement, but at the end of the day, like, you start to grow so much that you can't do everything yourself. Like, your creativity grows, your music IQ grows, your touring grows. Like, other artists want to collaborate with you, and there's so much on an artist's head that they can't also be on top of their touring logistics. They can't even also be on top of their release schedules. Like, so management is so important, especially in a world that we live in now, where social media is so important. Social media is one of the biggest things people look at. Like, to book an artist, the first thing they're going to do is either go to your Spotify page or your Instagram page. So it's just so many avenues and so many levels, and just so much for the artist to think of, that management it's necessary, man. It's necessary. But to be a good manager is necessary, to have a good
And a
manager.
manager with experience, a good business manager. There's a difference between manager, business manager. Like, there's so many levels to it. And
Exactly.
also understanding the legal side. Like, you have to learn a fuck ton to run algorithms, bro. I'll tell you that right now, because I don't run a business like yours, but I have to educate myself from the legal perspective, from a touring, from an entertainment perspective for my business, just so I could work with people like you to be able to pull things off, productions and things like that from the media perspective. There's so many variables, and a lot of those variables are also out of your control and up to you to have the right systems and teams in place to know that they're going to check off all those boxes and give you that peace of mind to be the manager or the leader that you need to be for your artist.
Yeah. I mean, it's honestly like I've always been someone that can tell you straight up, like, this is what I've always believed in. But the best way to learn is learn by default, man. Trial and error, and just go through it, you know? Like especially like my best, like, I always look at an L, right? Not as a loss, but as a lesson, right? And like the best lessons that I've had are when we seriously screw up. And there's been,
Painful.
yeah, it's painful, but it's necessary, because when you screw up like that, it never happens again, because that determines, like I said earlier, one little screw up can screw up everything. So, definitely learning by default, but also I've studied, techniques from world-renowned managers and top dogs, and I'm always consistently trying to learn more so I can apply that knowledge to my day-to-day, you know?
Yeah. So what's going on this year? Do you have any news that you could share with us on cool things coming up?
Yeah.
Nothing
I
that would give anything away, but some
I actually
spicy.
have some big news, man. I just we're going on a massive growth campaign. I just brought on I just went through some mergers and acquisitions, and we just brought on a new partner onto Algorhythms. Um, so we're looking at expanding the company big time. In the last 6 months, we've signed on two more artists. We signed on Arodes, who's a massive sensation, big growth artist, is breaking through, and we've signed on Andrea Oliva, who's you know a legend in the space. He has two residencies in Ibiza. He's part of Ants, and he also has his All I Need residency at Playa Soleil. Plus, he's just a legend, been around since the 90s. It's been an honor to have him. And then on the Latin side, we've also brought on, producers Subiloneo, which
Yeah.
they they've done all the stuff for Bad Bunny and Yo Lo Que Me Da La Gana. They worked on Un Verano Sin Ti, a bunch of stuff for Anuel and Ida, and now they're dipping their feet in the entertainment space. So I mean, in the electronic space. So another thing has been to get to work with them and building their career, to also make it a live side, right? So they started their DJ career a couple months ago, and they debuted it at EDC Mexico. Shout out to Joe Weissman and Pasquale and the whole team, and they just played their second set ever at EDC Las Vegas. So it's also, I got to give it to Insomniac for giving these guys a platform to also perform their talents at, and they're just killing it. So in the future, their project is going to be their production, obviously, where they're going to keep on working with these massive acts, but they're also going to be able to showcase their music live by DJing. So it's kind of like a Bizarre Rap,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but more
Speaking of
underground.
Visa Rap, dude is killing it, man. I've never seen a producer fill up stadium ever.
Bro, it's happening more than you think. Now you have John Summit
Oh yeah.
selling out. I mean, they'll have one show, and then it's like, oh my God, there's too many tickets. Let's do another day, and then another day. I mean, this guy's a machine, and you're seeing it more and more.
On the American side, on the Latin side, not as much as the American side, but Summit is wild, bro.
But it's gonna
What he's
head that way. It's gonna head
yeah,
that way, because if you think about it, like you were saying earlier, like the new Latin vibe, right? Like the demographics are so alike. Like it's very tough for you to find someone that loves Latin music, reggaeton, urban, like Latin pop, and that doesn't like dance music. So
yeah.
a lot of stuff that we're working on, at least with Calusa and Subiloneo, is we're merging the worlds, right? Now we're
Yeah.
creating a new genre that's kind of like a Latin tech, but sexier, more underground. It's
Mm,
kind of like Martinez Brothers in a way, but it's their
yeah.
own sound, you know, and we're working a lot with Insomniac on distributing that sound. And yeah, and even on the other side, on you know, Arodes and Andrea Oliva, they're working a lot with this happy melodic sound that's like it's something new. And they use like vocals, whether it's in Spanish or in English. I mean, right now is the time where like the only time I've seen in dance history, I've been doing this for a long time, where so many different artists on the urban side, on the pop side, on the Latin side, just want to work with electronic music. It's amazing. So it's
Or
only
even
gonna
salsa. Even salsa. Have you seen guaracha? Is its
yeah,
own, but
yeah,
guaracha involves ballads. It involves salsa. So you see that they want a taste of it, bro. Like people
brother.
want a taste.
100%. And it goes so well, right? Like, and shout out to Gordo too, who's one of the people that really Gordo and the Martinez brothers that I would say pretty much
Yeah.
pioneered this, you know, like they saw this early on and you know, my guys Calusa too, they saw this early on and now we're making some big hits and with some very big names. I can't give it up yet, but we're working with some very big Latin artists and you know 2024 2025 is going to be a big year for that space. I really think it's the future um
Yeah.
in that like more tech house space. And what my other artists are doing on the melodic side is definitely the future of the melodic sound. So I feel like I'm in a great position as a manager because we're getting two sounds that are blowing up and we're just taking them to the next level.
I'm happy for you, Diego. Listen, man, where can everybody find you or algorithms, or can they stay in touch with all the projects you got going on?
Yeah, I mean, look, they can follow my personal page. I'm always posting stuff there, Diego GDC. Um, and then on algorithms, it's algorithms, and it's cool because the algorithms, you know, the slogan is the equation of talent, right? Because you use the algorithm like a whole equation process and you mix it up with entertainment and we are the equation of the talent that's out there, right? So it's like we're the answer, right? So that's kind of how we branded the company, and algorithms is at algorhythms.ent for entertainment.
We're gonna
um
link that in the show notes under the YouTube video, y'all, and we're gonna put it on the article. Where if you're reading the article with this, you're gonna be able to find everything linked to Diego and algorithms.
Yeah, man, everyone should follow what we're doing. It's amazing stuff. Like I said, we just you know, sold a portion of the company. We have a new partner on board. Shout out to Gamil, and we're really gonna expand, man. We're gonna be you know, we want to be the most impactful management company, multi-genre management company that there is, man. So we're coming in. We're gonna make some noise, man.
I'm happy for it. And look, man, side note, I wanted to give you a big thank you for allowing the Fame community to continue to expand. We have a production at Space this weekend.
Great.
Thanks to you. So want to give you your flowers. Want to give you appreciation. The Fame team is very happy and very excited that you were able to make that happen with us. We've
You're
been
gonna
growing.
you're gonna work with Malone, right?
Yeah.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Malone. Yo, shout out to Malone too. And one of the hardest working artists I know, a good friend too, a great dad. And yeah, man, you know, shout out to the Space guys too. They're making waves. So it's I'm proud of you that you're gonna be doing that, man. It's great. I'm excited to see what you do over there.
Yeah, well, you know, we're big in pop, we're big in hip hop, we're big in reggaeton, we're big in trap. Like 6 months back, we started getting into dance music. We have covers with Hardwell, Rehab, Cascade, and we've interviewed Amal a few days ago. Now we're gonna be doing Malone, thanks to you. So it's growing, and it's going in a great direction. So I'm glad that our paths are crossing like this, and we continue to help the music industry grow down here in Miami and beyond.
Let's make some waves, man. This is our city. Let's put it on. Let's put it more on the map than what it already is.
All right, y'all. This is Alex Quin, Diego Gomez, Algorithms, Fame Magazine. Catch you on the next one.
Thanks, guys.